excited you're here because I'm going to do kind of like a rapid fire January wrap up and my February TBR. I didn't read a ton in January. Well, not, you know, it probably was a lot. It was like 10 or 11 books. Not as much as I usually do. And that is because stuff is been very weird and crazy, and I spend a lot of my time doom scrolling now, and then trying to focus on doing stuff that is, you know, a part of the resistance, and one of those is reading. So let's get into the books I read. So the first book I finished was William by Mason Coile, I believe. This book was a rollover from the previous year. I'm a mess. I did really like this. I liked the ending. So I think I started this and then my Spotify was like, you can't play the rest of it, which is so lame. So that's why it took me so long to finish, because I had to wait a whole month to finish it because I ran out of my Spotify hours. But yeah, I finished it. I gave it 4 stars, or I think I'm giving it 4 stars. The ending of this is so good. I'm a big AI robot kind of person in horror, and I haven't read a book with it, and yeah, it just worked for me. This is about a man who suffers from agoraphobia, who built a robot named William to get ready to be a father because his wife is pregnant. But this is very twisty-turny and very creepy because the robot is like a doll. And I love that. I love that for William. Yeah, if you like Megan, if you like even Companion, I watched that recently in the theaters and I absolutely love that. I love it. I'm rethinking my my sex robot chant in New Year's. Every year for like the past 15 years I would chant sex robot because I thought it was funny. And now I'm like really rethinking a lot of stuff after devouring AI stuff, and yeah, I'm not gonna say that anymore. I think that's in the past now. And what was another rollover? I think I did start Immortal Dark, but like very slowly. I think I was only like 30 pages in on the first, but yeah, Immortal Dark, I listened to this one. This is a fantasy, dark academia, vampire book. I did say this one had smut, or was supposed to have smut in it, and it was YA or sex scenes. It doesn't. It does not. I think what people were implying is that that metaphor for vampire is very, very heavy in this, and it could be perceived as sexual. There's a lot of like sexual tension and stuff in it, but there's no sex scenes at all, which I'm glad for. I'm not like a big smut person, and yeah, I would think it would be weird in a place, but the metaphor is definitely there, and there is like a lot of that angst and that tension in it. And the rules and like the schooling and like the government, I don't know, like it was very weird to me, but I haven't read fantasy in so long. I was kind of zoning out during those parts. I was like, okay, so this family can do that, but that family can't do that, but the teacher, but the what, got so many question marks. So I was like kind of lost for a moment, but I did like the main character and the dialogue was great. So I think I'm giving it 3.5 stars. But yeah, fantasy is tough for me now. I have no what is it, attention span? What is that thing called? My brain? I don't have it anymore. And then I had to reread Stay Out of the Basement by R.L. Stine, Goosebumps book, because I started watching the new Goosebumps series on Disney. I liked the first season with Justin Long. I thought it was really funny and goofy, and they did a bunch of the books. This one is a little bit more serious, but it still has like that tone in it, and I do like it more. I'm only like 4 episodes in, but I am really liking it, and it's funny to see David Schwimmer as like, is it David Schwimmer? I can never say his last name, the dude from Friends. I think it's really funny to see him in a Goosebumps. And then I did manage to get 1 vlog out in January. and that was my getting back into reading vlog. I read The Lady from the Black Lagoon by Mallory O'Meara. This is a nonfiction book about the woman who did the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, she drew it, and that's what they based the suit off of. And it was about her life, and honestly I didn't know anything about her, and it just felt very special, especially Mallory O'Meara's like connection. And I talk about it in my vlog, like it's so nuanced for coming out in like 2017 or 2018, which feels like a lifetime ago, but it was also right after like Me Too, or Me Too was happening. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. And then I read, let me open the stock, Smithy by Amanda Desiree. This is a found footage horror story that is set around a chimpanzee named Smithy. And a group of scientists in the 70s are teaching Smithy sign language, and they're in a haunted house in New England. And yeah, I really liked it. I actually love this book so much. I honestly, it's tough for me to feel anything, especially these days, and I felt so much for Smithy. And there's no AC in this, or animal cruelty in this. Nothing bad really happens to Smithy for the most part, except it's Ghost. And all the characters are like genuinely nice people, and I was kind of waiting for that like one person to be like, "Ooh, you don't like them," you know. But they had like really good discussions and like point of views on things, and I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, a very unique. And then I read The Bone Weaver's Orchard by Sarah Reed for Kelsee's book club pick, and I really enjoyed this one. It was like very atmospheric and spooky. It's a ghost story about a boys' home. Not Boys in the Valley vibes. It's a very different story than that, but it was dark. I was not expecting it to be so dark, which I liked. So I think I gave it 4 stars because I was like, oh dang, this is dark. I like when YA books go there. And then I read Pink Slime by Fernanda Treyes. This is a translated book about an epidemic. Well, it's more apocalyptic epidemic book about this algae that gets into the atmosphere, and it changes the environment. It's like an I don't want to say environmental crisis. I don't know. I don't have the words for it because we are in an environmental crisis, but it basically gets so bad they have to like supply the food or make this food. And then there's like genetic stuff happening with certain people. It was very like David Cronenberg Future Crimes-esque, but having that emotional connection, because our main character, there's people that depend on her, and it was like, what do you do? How do you compartmentalize saving yourself at the same time? Like, how do you make those decisions and those choices? It was very interesting. It was very psychological, and it got me thinking, like, how am I going to react in an apocalyptic situation when there's people depending on me, and I need to look out for myself, kind of thing. It was very interesting, and it made me think days later, especially unprecedented times, right? I was thinking about this book, so I gave it 5 stars because I was like, oh dang, it hit deep a little. Then I read Grady Hendrix's new book, The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. Wasn't a huge fan of this one. I talked about it in my vlog. I'm not going to get into it here. I gave it 2 stars. I was thinking 2.5 because I did like the ending, so I might do 2.5. But yeah, I just did not care for it at all. And I listened to The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. I had this load on Libby. I think I saw Lexi read it or something and liked it, and I was like, oh, a quick mindless thriller would be really nice right now. So I listened to that very quickly, and that's exactly what it is. It is a kind of quick mindless thriller, but it was fun, and it had these like 1920s vibes, vintage vibes. It had a lot of murder and twist, and I'm giving it 4 stars. It was a nice little fun distraction. And then I read Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a part of my banned books vlog, but I did really like it and I gave it 4 stars. But my banned books vlog should be out very soon, hopefully. My vlogs are taking much longer than usual. And then I read Dearest by Jacquie Walters. This is a motherhood body horror ghost story book, and honestly I could not figure out where this was gonna go, so the ending was kind of a surprise. I was just like, where's this going? Oh my gosh. But it's very short too, so it's like very fast paced. It's disgusting. It has disgusting imagery. It's very weird. It's trippy. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, on to my February TBR. So I'm going to keep this very brief. I'm only going to talk about the books I'm going to be reading for a readathon. It's the I Love Black Horror readathon hosted by Kelsee Thomas, and I will link her. I believe she has a channel over here too, a channel and her Instagram. That's where I've been seeing all of the awesome art she does. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to participate. And if you guys don't follow her on Instagram, what are you doing? Or her channel, because good recommendations over there. Good recommendations. So I borrowed Devils Killed Devils by Johnny Compton. Wow, that was hard. I'm actually not sure what this is about, but I really liked Spite House. Spite House is one of those books that kind of like just grips you and like doesn't let go until the end, until you're done with it, because it's short too. This looks like a short one. So I'm very excited for this one. I made a reel of this one, or for my TBR, and I noticed there is like a fade. This is just a monster on here. So monster book. Yes, I'm so excited. And then I have 2 Faraday Abiki Amati books. I'm totally probably mispronouncing that name. I did look up pronunciation too. And yeah, I have 2 of her books. I have Ace of Spades, which has been on my list for a while because it is a banned book. And it is right up top too, because it starts with an A, and I thought that was so fun. I was like, right off the bat, here we go. Ace of Spades and Where Sleeping Girls Lie. A little author double feature happening. And then The Getaway by Lamar Giles. I found this at like Ollie's or something, and it's been on my radar for a minute. This is like a horror thriller, like survival game, I think, book. I read the premise a long time ago, but yeah, I'm super excited to read this one. And then I think those are all the books I have planned for that. I do have some Garb August 2.3, 2.2, I forget, with the Wasted Weekend stuff picked. I think I'm just gonna do those gothic trashy paperbacks if I get to 1 or 2 maybe. I do have them aside. I don't know. I don't know. My reading hasn't been great. So we shall see. And I'm still finishing my reading banned books vlog, which is sad. But let me know what you guys plan on reading in February, or if you had any good books to read in January, or read in January. You guys know about books, so let me know in the comments. What am I saying now? But I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bye.